Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're moving away from just exploring sources and stepping more into the shadows.
Into the wilderness, specifically.
Exactly. We're going to recount 3 pretty chilling true stories. These came from people who encountered something unexpected, something genuinely terrifying while they were out camping. Our aim here is really just to share these experiences as they were told. We want you to feel the fear, the suspense of those nights.
And there's something unique about fear and isolation, isn't there? When you're cut off, the unknown feels so much more present, more real.
Absolutely. It strips away all that comfort.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the first story. This one takes us back to 2020, right during the early COVID lockdowns.
A strange time already.
It really was. The person telling the story is a seasoned backpacker. They were looking for some serious solitude, actually. They'd gone through a really rough patch professionally. Yeah, some incident had led to, serious harassment, threats. They'd had to change phone numbers, jobs, the whole thing. Just this constant anxiety from anonymous threats they thought finally had stopped.
Wow, okay, so they needed an escape.
Desperately. So they planned this trip to a remote creek way out in Rocky Mountain National Park, Colorado. Because of the lockdown and it still being sort of wintry with snow around, the park was just eerily quiet. Silent almost.
Perfect for solitude, you'd think.
You would think. They found the creek, set up camp a bit off the trail. Night falls, they get a fire going, make some food, starting to, finally unwind, trying to detox from all that stress.
Right, settling in.
But just as they start to relax, their phone buzzes. Unknown number, 203 area code, which is Connecticut.
Okay, that's weirdly specific and far away.
Right. Then the texts start coming. First one, how's your camping going, buddy? Then, it's beautiful out here. And then the one that really hits, I see why you came up here.
Oh no, that implies presence. Right there.
Immediately. This wasn't random. Whoever it was, they were there, watching.
And that brings in this really modern kind of horror, doesn't it? This idea that even when you go completely off-grid, that digital connection, that threat, can somehow follow you. It actually makes the isolation more terrifying.
It completely twists it. What's supposed to be a sanctuary becomes like a trap.
Yeah, the online threat suddenly feels very, very physical.
Totally. So our backpacker texts back, who is this? Nothing. Just silence. The anxiety just skyrockets. They stand up, looking out into the dark woods, and they pull out their handgun, a P365 from their pack.
Smart move, given the context.
Yeah, just needing to feel some sort of protection. Normally they put the fire out before sleeping, but now the idea of total darkness was just unbearable, so they kept it going.
Can't blame them.
An hour goes by, tense silence. Then another text, same number. It's a reply to, who is this? It just says, doesn't matter anymore.
Chilling.
Heart pounding. They type back, how did you know I'm camping? Again, nothing. Just silence. Were they being pranked, or was this one of the people from before? But how? How did they find them here, of all places?
The logistics alone are terrifying.
Right. The woods are dead quiet except for the wind. The fire's dying down. And then they hear it. That sound you just don't mistake. Human footsteps. Crunching in the snow. Coming towards the tent. The footsteps stop. Really close, like maybe 6 feet away. They're gripping the gun, just pure adrenaline, and suddenly a bright flash outside the tent, like a camera flash, or maybe a flashlight flicked on and off.
Oh, wow.
And then instantly their phone buzzes again, same number. It's a picture message this time. A photo of their tent, taken just seconds before, followed by a text, have a good night's sleep.
That is absolutely terrifying. Pure psychological warfare.
It was the breaking point. All that fear just turned into this surge of defiant anger. They unzip the tent, stand up, and fire 2 shots straight up into the air.
Whoa.
And they hear it immediately. Footsteps running fast, scrambling away through the snow, fading off into the distance.
So it worked. Scared them off.
It seemed to. But then comes this awful realization. That person was right there, hiding, watching. And they were still out there, somewhere nearby, just further away now. They yelled something threatening out into the dark, then got back in the tent.
Must have been a long night after that.
Had to be. No more texts, no more sounds, though. The gun seemed to have done the trick. They stayed awake for hours, completely wired, finally crashing from exhaustion. Waking up to sunlight must have been an incredible relief.
I can only imagine.
It seems whoever it was wasn't prepared for actual armed resistance, thankfully. Because it's been almost 5 years since then, and nothing, no more contact. But it really makes you think, what if they hadn't had the gun? What if the stalker had been more determined?
A very scary what if.
Okay, so from that very modern digital kind of intrusion, let's shift gears. Our next story deals with a different kind of vulnerability, kids. Unsupervised, deep in the woods, primal fear territory.
Right, childhood fears magnified.
This happened in northern Michigan. The storyteller's family had this tradition. Every October, they'd visit their Uncle Jim's place. He had about 4 acres, a lot of it dense forest, and beyond his property line was just miles of county forest land.
Proper wilderness.
Definitely. So one afternoon, the storyteller, who was maybe the oldest at 13, his younger brother Adam, and 2 cousins, Jake and Joe, they were all between 9 and 13, they managed to talk their dads into letting them camp out, alone, in the woods.
Uh-oh. Letting kids that age camp alone sounds risky.
Well, the dads were apparently, quote, half drunk, so maybe easier to persuade. The moms were hesitant but didn't stop it. So the dad and Uncle Jim lead the boys out way past the marked property line, deep into the woods to this little clearing. Uncle Jim called it a deer bed.
Okay.
They set up this big tent, plenty of room for the 4 of them. This was all in daylight. Later, after dinner, the dads walk them back out with flashlights, extra blankets, and they're joking like, "We'll be close enough to hear you scream." Then they leave.
Charming. So the boys are really alone now.
Totally alone, deep enough in that you couldn't see any light from the house. They settle in, playing Uno with flashlights for maybe half an hour, just being kids.
Sounds normal enough at first.
Until they hear it, a scream off in the distance, and it sounds like a girl. They all just freeze, look at each other, instant fear.
Yeah.
The storyteller, being the oldest, tries to be rational, remembers hearing that foxes can sound like women screaming. So he tells the others, especially Joe, the youngest, it's probably just a fox. And it kind of works, calms them down a bit. They go back to their game, but, nervously.
That's a tough situation for a kid, trying to figure out what's a real threat and what's just the woods making noise, especially when you're responsible for younger kids.
Exactly. And that uncertainty and that isolation, it just breeds terror.
It really does.
Because it didn't stay distant. It happened again. Only this time, it was way louder and much, much closer. And it sounded, as he put it, a lot more human.
Okay, now it's serious.
Yeah. Total silence in the tent again, but this time, even the storyteller is properly scared. Joe looks like he's about to cry. The storyteller whispers, "Turn off the flashlights." They all just dive deep into their sleeping bags, just paralyzed in the dark.
They didn't try to run back.
They were too scared to. Too scared of running out there into whatever made the noise, scared of being chased. It felt safer, somehow, to just hide in the tent, even though it's just thin fabric.
That fight or flight response gets scrambled sometimes. Hiding feels safer than exposing yourself.
Yeah. So they're waiting, whispering, still trying to hope maybe it was a fox. But then they all hear it. Footsteps. Really fast. Leaves crunching, coming right for the tent. They all sit bolt upright, eyes wide in the pitch black. The footsteps stop right outside.
Oh, man.
And then just this ear-piercing, gut-wrenching scream right there, right side the tent wall. Definitely sounded like a girl or woman in terror. And then the whole tent starts shaking violently.
Shaking the tent. Oh, no.
That's when they all lost it. Just started screaming themselves. Jake and Joe just pure terror screams. The storyteller and his brother are yelling, "Get out! Get out!"
Okay, flight instinct kicked in now.
Big time. The storyteller fumbles with the zipper, gets it open. One by one, they just burst out, flashlights waving frantically. They just ran as fast as they could back towards the house, screaming the whole way. He described it as this absolute life or death kind of feeling.
I bet. Pure panic.
When they finally burst out of the trees near the house, the whole family is already outside. Their screams had carried. Everyone heard them. They try to explain what happened, gasping for breath. Everyone shocked, horrified.
Did they think it was a prank?
The storyteller did initially. He accused his dad and uncle of getting one of the girl cousins, Jamie or Christina, to go out there and scare them. But his dad took him inside, showed him. Jamie, Christina, and his own sister were all fast asleep in their beds. Had been for a while.
So it wasn't them. It was someone else.
Someone unknown, out there in the woods with them. That realization must have been ice cold. The dads grabbed rifles, went back into the woods to check it out, but they came back after a bit, found nothing. No one.
And the aftermath.
They packed up the tent and everything the next day. That was it. They never, ever camped in those woods again. In fact, it shook them up so bad, they didn't even like playing outside near the woods after dark anymore. And they never found out who or what was screaming and shaking their tent that night. Just an unsolved, terrifying mystery.
Leaves a permanent mark in an experience like that, especially as a kid.
So we've had the stalker, the screams. Our last story tonight pushes into something even stranger, something that left the people involved questioning reality itself. This happened just a couple of years ago to the storyteller and his dad camping out in what he calls the deep country.
Okay, deep country. Sounds remote.
It was. Though initially it seemed pretty normal. It was a sort of touristy campsite, actually. Hiking trails, zip lines nearby. It was on land that had a lot of Native American history, which might be relevant, maybe not. The first night, totally fine, pleasant. Other families around, campfires, kids laughing, standard camping stuff, cooked hot dogs, marshmallows.
Nice and normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the second night, things changed. They found out they were the only ones left. The entire park, just them. At first, they were kind of excited, like, cool, we have the whole place to ourselves.
Could be fun or it could be eerie.
Turned out to be eerie. They spent the day hiking, fishing. They even listened to a scary podcast down by the river, kind of leaning into the spooky vibe, you know? But as the sun started setting, walking back to their site, this really weird feeling washed over both of them. The woods just felt different.
Oh.
The air felt heavier, he said. The sky had this strange tint to it, like the sunset was stuck. And the dad actually said out loud, "Doesn't this feel off, like we're in some kind of dream?" And the storyteller agreed. The forest felt suddenly huge, endless, and the strong feeling of not being alone.
That sense of being watched. Primal.
Definitely. They got back to the campfire, but the feeling didn't go away. They didn't really talk about it, just sort of mutually agreed to act normal, stick close to the fire, hope it would pass. But the dread was there.
Yeah, that's isolation working on you. Familiar places start to feel alien when your senses get jangled like that. The quiet, the weird light, it primes you for fear.
And in this case, it seemed like it was priming them for something else. Because around 9:00 p.m., sitting by the fire, they hear it, a loud bang, like a huge tree just falling over, really loud, really close, seemed to come from down by the river, maybe 100 yards off.
Okay, that's startling.
They grabbed flashlights, shine them that way, see nothing. Dad makes a nervous joke about Bigfoot. A few minutes pass, then bang. Again, same sound, just as loud, maybe slightly different spot. Then bang, a third time, closer.
Okay, that's not random falling trees, that's movement.
Exactly, real fear kicks in now. Whatever this is, it's moving. And it seems to be circling them, coming towards the campsite. And then, almost immediately, the fourth bang. This one was close, like 20 yards away, maybe less.
Oh, wow. It's right on top of them.
Pure adrenaline now. Dad's eyes are wide with terror. They don't even need to speak. Decision made. Get in the tent. Now, they scramble, throw the last logs on the fire, hoping maybe the flames will keep it back, leave everything else, chairs, food, everything, and dive into the tent.
Just get inside.
As the dad is pulling the zipper, just about to close it, the loudest bang yet happens. Right there. Felt like it shook the ground. He freezes, just staring out into the darkness for a second. Then he pulls the zipper shut and just mutters, "It's standing there."
Yeah. What did he see?
He didn't know. He just said, "I don't know." It was like a wall of darkness, just this presence. He sits right by the zipper, pulls out a small knife, their only weapon. The storyteller just burrows deep into their sleeping bag.
Terrified.
And then the sound starts, or maybe not a sound. He described it as a vibration noise. It started low, like a deep hum, but it wasn't just auditory. It filled the air. It was physical, like pressure building in their chests, on their eardrums.
Physical sensation. That's bizarre.
Dad whispers, "You hear that?" Storyteller can only nod, too scared to speak, just feeling utterly hunted. This intense vibration goes on for maybe 5 minutes, complete silence inside the tent except for this pervasive physical hum. And then another noise joins it.
One out.
This one was definitely a sound. He called it guttural, alien-like, not an animal he recognized, not human. The closest comparison he could make was like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things.
Okay, that's deeply unsettling.
They're just frozen, too scared to move, to breathe loudly, definitely too scared to peek out the mesh window. What if it saw them looking?
Yeah, don't look.
And then, this is the really weird part, right in the middle of all this, the noise, the vibration, the fear, they both just blacked out.
Blacked out, like fainted or missing time.
More like missing time. Neither of them remembers falling asleep or even trying to. They just woke up. Hours later, Dad's still clutching the knife. It was still pitch black outside.
That is strange. And the phones.
That's the other thing. Their phones, which had been fully charged, were completely dead. Both of them. Stone dead.
Okay, that adds another layer of weirdness.
They cautiously get out of the tent. The air is cold still. Everything is quiet. The food they left out on the table, untouched. And the fire, the big fire they'd stoked right before diving into the tent, burned down completely to ash. Like hours and hours had passed undisturbed. The whole place just felt wrong. Like they absolutely should not be there.
Felt watched still.
Yeah, that feeling lingered. Watched and hunted, they stayed in the tent, silent until dawn. Packed up fast, didn't say a word until they were back in the car driving away.
And when they finally talked, they realized they'd both felt that exact same oppressive dread all night. That feeling of being watched, hunted, like something was just waiting. They told the storyteller's mom later. She was skeptical, suggested maybe drugs or weird gases from the ground or something.
Trying to rationalize it.
Right. But both of them, father and son, are adamant it was real. And the dad, who got that glimpse outside the tent, insists whatever it was not human and not natural.
Wow.
They've never heard any similar stories about that specific campsite. They've never been back, and they haven't been camping at all since then. And they say they probably never will again.
I mean, can you blame them? That unexplained blackout, the dead phones.
Yeah.
That pushes it beyond just fear into genuinely high strangeness territory. It challenges your whole sense of reality.
It really does. When you're under that kind of extreme stress, in that isolation, your perception can definitely get warped. We know that. Sure. But things like missing time, dead electronics, those details pop up often in these really anomalous encounter stories. It suggests something more than just psychological stress might be at play, whether it's human threats or unexplained sounds or these unseen entities. They all point to how fragile our sense of safety really is out there, how thin the veil might be.
Yeah, these stories, they really underscore our vulnerability when we're truly isolated in nature, don't they? They confront us with how little we might actually know about what's lurking just outside the firelight.
Exactly. They're potent reminders that maybe some mysteries are better left unsolved, and maybe some places, however beautiful by day, really are best left alone after dark. It leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What might you run into if you venture too far off the path?
A chilling thought to end on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the unknown wilderness. If these stories got under your skin, please do us a solid. Like this deep dive, maybe share it with someone who enjoys a good scare.
And subscribe.
Yes, definitely subscribe to the Horror Docs channel. We'll have more true accounts coming your way. Thanks for listening.